All right, what is up, everybody? We are live. UFC Vegas 28. This is the best bets, the full card betting breakdown and predictions. Looking forward to talking about this card more deeply on the betting side. Obviously, you guys probably have seen my predictions already. If you haven't, they're up on the channel, the full card predictions. I will link them in the description probably after the live stream when I go through and throw in those timestamps. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Goal on this best bets video, let's do 90 likes. I believe we can definitely hit the 90 likes. So smash the like button. Subscribe if you guys are new here. We're going to start it off with the first segment of the night, and we'll also bring up that betting page here with best fight odds. Let's quickly find some of the notes I got down. All right, so first section of this video, we're going to talk about the locks of the week. The locks of the week, the MMA locks, which granted, no such thing as lock, but some picks that there's definitely some confidence in. You guys know, early on in the night, Jordan Leavitt versus Claudio Puelles. I think this is an excellent matchup for Leavitt. A guy in Puelles who has decent grappling game and does go to it when he's outstruck, but definitely is not going to have the advantage at all on the ground here. Leavitt's the better wrestler. Leavitt's the better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. I think Leavitt's kind of just better everywhere. It's going to be an extremely difficult fight for Claudio Puelles, and it's not going to be competitive. I really don't think so. I believe we're going to see a finish. Leavitt is known for putting guys out with the submission. That is his thing. He's a submission expert. He's a finisher. He said himself he does not like going the distance. I think this fight here does not go the distance, and it's Leavitt winning the fight by submission. Plus 165. Get it now because it's going to get closer and closer as the week goes on. It might be at plus 110 by the end of the week. It could be negative. A lot of people are going to bet that Leavitt submission, and I'm telling you guys, that is a very good bet to play if you're looking for some prop plays on this. But Jordan Leavitt winning the fight. He is a lock of the night, and that is one prop that I will talk about with him that I really think has some serious value as well. So Leavitt's our first of the locks. The next is going to be Leavitt-Amirkhani, late notice replacement, guy that I think is going to struggle with the grappling of Amirkhani. I waited, and there's still no props. It is what it is. We'll talk about the props in that weigh-in recap video, so make sure you guys tune in on Friday for that. Amirkhani minus 275, Kamela Kirk plus 215. I think Makwan should go out there, submit Kirk in the first round. I believe he does that. There's going to be a level difference when that fight hits the ground. Another fight, and it's very risky because it is women's MMA, and women's MMA tends to have even crazier results than the men's. But I think Montana De La Rosa, minus 255, Ariane Lipski, plus 215. Another potential lock of the night that I really do think can come through and should be a clear-cut winner in her performance. So those are the locks of the night here. I think that value betting them, maybe there's definitely some. You wanted to add like a parlay between them, you could definitely line it up for some decent plus money. We'll talk parlays towards the end of the video. We have a deep dive into the parlays. But for locks of the night, I think those are the three. And there's definitely still value in some like potential locks, some high likelihood plays. I feel like, Delidze could be on there, but unproven guy at the highest level. Breeze, he should be able to beat Ahoyo with his boxing skills. Potentially could struggle a bit. Another fight that I think there's still some decent value would be Mason Jones here. He really should beat the older Alan Patrick. But now we're going to the other side. We're doing dogs. Who are some of the dogs on this card that I feel some true value in that I would want to throw money down? One of them, and I would say one that I'm very excited about, is going to be Gregory Rodrigues at plus 125. Some money's come down. The line, I think, could get closer. Tudorovic, known for dropping the hands low. His head movement is good, and it's a lot, but Gregory Rodrigues throws heavy punches. You look at his fight with Jordan Williams, he got caught by a big shot, and he got put down. That happens to the best of them, and here in this matchup versus Dusko Tudorovic, I think we are going to see Gregory Rodrigues shine, land the bigger punches, and knock out Tudorovic. So I like Gregory Rodrigues at that plus 125 for the dog play. Now, with him as the dog, who is the other dog that I think could come through, and I would say is like more of a strong confidence dog pick. I'm going Ilir Latifi at plus 165. I think his grappling game could be a problem for Tanner Bozier. If he can get at the legs, if he can get Bozier to the ground, he can control from the top position. Bozier, no slouch, but I still believe wrestling advantage Latifi, and Bozier is more the size of a light heavyweight. Latifi is used to that. So I'm going to pick Latifi there, but that top play would lean you towards definitely. Where is our betting odds here for Gregory Rodrigues at plus 125? I like Rodrigues a good amount here as a dog. Now, let's get to the next segment. We're getting out of the dogs, the locks, and the potential bets that are worth it for straight up plays. We're going to talk about some props. The props are where you can really try to Mystic Mac it, but you can make a good amount back. We already talked about the first prop that I actually have written down here that I think is very valuable. It's the Leavitt fight, and I think Leavitt is going to destroy Pulos on the ground. As I said, Leavitt submission plus 165. Get it while you can. That is one that I love. And there's a ton of value in that. Leavitt is a submission specialist who does not like going the distance. Another prop that I think has some value. If you don't want to bet this fight straight, I think there's a pretty decent chance Woodson and Zalal does end up going the distance, with Woodson slightly putting the pace on him and just outstriking him, but also could go the other way. If Zalal wins, I still think he could end up winning a decision. So if you want to bet like more safe on that fight and you don't want to actually be throwing down straight up, you want to just bet the end outcome of how long the fight goes to decision, minus 205, minus 225, depending where you go. I think that's okay, but I definitely don't love that price tag. Maybe you can parlay it up with something potentially, but I feel like decent play there on that fight. Woodson to win, less value, but that's one of the props, and we'll bring up another prop here that we have written down. Oh, Furiat and Moroz. This one, possible play. These are the prop possible plays. I'm not calling any props locks here. I'll just call them prop possible plays that I think could potentially come through here. If you're looking at the Furiat fight versus Marina Moroz, I do think Moroz is pretty durable to go the 3 rounds. Furiat on the other side, good striker, good from range, nice kicks. I feel like fight goes the distance play. Minus 250 though. It's widespread. Maybe Furiat by a decision is one, but that wouldn't be even on the possible plays. That would be on the more moderate risk because she could end up getting a TKO. But for her to win the fight by a decision, plus 155. So not terrible value there either. We got some more props. Let's see what this next one is out here. Okay, this one here I like a lot. I think these next two I actually like the most. The other ones that I went through I definitely didn't like as much besides the Leavitt one early. These I would say are more of the higher confidence ones on the list of this prop possible plays. The ones here I feel like could be worth a play. Amirkhani by sub, but we don't see it, which is an issue. But I would assume it would be maybe minus 125 to plus 150. If you get it right when the line opens, you might see it at plus money. So if you can snatch that up early, the line is not out yet. So this is actually maybe good for us because we don't know the line. But if it's really valuable, get that Makwan Amirkhani play. Play it down for him by submission. I think that's how he beats Kamalo Kirk here. And then the next one, I think the Dushko to the Rorvik fight with Gregory Rodrigues probably doesn't go the distance. I would say maybe fight doesn't go the distance, but it's minus 285. I don't love that price tag at all, but I do think there's some value there. Rodrigues winning by a TKO, it's possible. I think Dushko could also get him. Dushko being the favorite, there's definitely plus 145. Some more value. I would say this. With both of these guys, they can both be knocked out, I believe. And the power they both bring to the table, I have to favor Gregory Rodrigues' punching power. It's definitely superior to Dushko's. But Dushko does have decent head movement. If he lands a beautiful counter and a straight shot right on the chin, like Jordan Williams did to Gregory Rodrigues, he can absolutely put him down. But he's more of a volume puncher, and I don't think has that same speed either that Jordan Williams does have. That's why I'm going Rodrigues. But the play on that one, inside the distance, but it's just not a ton of value. Maybe you want to bet under 1.5 rounds because that fight could go quick, minus 103. Okay value, not loving that. Let's get to some of, let's say, the riskier plays with the props. These are going to be definitely some Mystic Macking it with the way the fighters win. But I do think Montana De La Rosa wins the fight by decision, is probably the most confident of this list. Rosa by a decision, plus 110, but it's just not a ton of value. So that's why, it's on the lower end spectrum of our listing here. It's right in the middle, I guess, the middle category of the props to play. I like Rozenstruik by knockout. I think this is a decent one because probably if he wins, it is by knockout, plus 150. Not a bad tag. Not a bad tag at all. Actually, a pretty good price tag for Rozenstruik, who's known for the knockout. And that's how he wins fights normally. Miguel Baeza to stop Ponzinibbio, I think it could definitely happen. If Baeza can get him out in a round and a half, goes over, then maybe you're live betting Ponzinibbio if you're playing that one. But I do think Baeza by a knockout, plus 319. The odds on every prop are pretty wide here. So you definitely can make some dinero down if you're able to pull this one off. Oh, excuse me. It's not plus 319. That's for Ponzinibbio. It's plus 175. That's not as good for Baeza beating an old vet like Pons. I do think Pons could be knocked out here and will be knocked out here. But I have to give the vet some respect. If he comes out looking like he got that ring rust off of him and looks like his old self again, he definitely could beat Baeza here. But Baeza's a very skilled prospect. So I do like him with the knockout in that fight. Let's get to some more here. This one I think is decent too. Tybura, I think he TKOs Walt Harris. And for the value, plus 275, that's surprisingly good because I feel like Tybura will get top position. He's not going to look for a submission. He's going to look to land ground and pound and put away Harris, similar to how he did against Greg Hardy. I feel like he's going to succeed at it. And I think he's definitely getting a TKO. So this one here, for me, money play plus 275. I think that's a good cash play with Marcin Tybura. And then there is one more, but it's a riskier play because it is Sean Woodson. I feel like Woodson does go out there and win a decision. Odds for him winning that decision, plus 150. Is it the greatest price tag? No, but I do think the outcome of that fight is probably him winning by decision against Yusuf Zalal, a durable fighter with a good skill set in his own right. I have to give the man some decent respect. I think he can go the distance with Woodson, but I don't think he'll be able to deal with that long reach. Could he get inside, snatch up a submission? It's possible, so that's why we're about to jump to the next section of the props. I would call these the prop Hail Marys, and there's going to be a play, potentially a sprinkle play if you guys are interested on Zalal winning this fight by submission. It's been bet. It was originally in the plus 1000s. Now it's at plus 860. I feel like that's a decent one. If you find these submission plays, you could cash big. And if you end up getting that right, you're making a ton back. Sakai submission, plus 1125. I think that's worth a play at plus 1125. That's insane, and I could see him somehow snatching the neck of Jairzinho and making this a grappling match. So definitely some value on both of those by submission. Another one that I would say might be a serious Hail Mary, but it's a dog play with Latifi winning the fight, but also winning the fight by a decision, plus 390. Not what I love because it's not that crazy plus 800 plus money like the plus 1,000 we saw with the last one, but it's still... For a dog, it's okay. I don't love it, though. I definitely don't love it as much as the other ones. And this one, I believe this might be the last of the riskier plays that I have written down. You go with Delidze on a decision. It is sitting at Delidze, was it a decision or submission? Let me make sure I have it written. Yeah, it is submission, not decision. Excuse me on that one. Delidze by submission. He has the grappling edge. You can find it at plus 592, but you can find it at plus 700. So that has value because of how widespread it is and because of how solid the grappling skill set Delidze brings to the table. So I do think submission is possible in the fight, but the prop Hail Marys will bring us to the next section. I'll also check up on that live chat here as well. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you guys have not already. Also, guys, make sure you subscribe if you are new here. Appreciate everybody tuning in, whether live or on the recap. I really am excited for this card. The bets here, I think, have some good value to make some dinero. I think we're going to have a solid card this week, and I think some good entertainment. We'll definitely be live for it as well, so make sure you guys tune into that. But we got to get to the next section, the parlays. What parlays are worth it? What parlays are coming through with potential lock status, some possibility really that I see here. There's going to be some. I'm calling this the parlay safer plays section. Okay, the first one is going to be Leavitt and Amirkhani. Both of these guys combined, you should cash at plus 101. I actually have a good amount of confidence throwing money at this fight at plus 101. Both these guys with grappling advantages, they really should win, and I believe they both will win. Now, do you want to add somebody to it? And I feel like women's MMA is inherently very risky, so this would be risky. Of the more confident plays, this is a risky one. But Montana De La Rosa now brings you to plus 180. You could get some solid money throwing down 100 for the plus 180 on De La Rosa. So I like De La Rosa in there, but I totally understand some people will want to leave her out, so I will leave her out of this next one. Maybe you play with Mason Jones down here to win his fight against Alan Patrick. I think he should be a guy like Patrick over the age, but I would still say brings that inherent risk just simply because how new he is into, the UFC. I personally prefer going with Montana De La Rosa, who's fought a good amount of experienced girl. So I'm going to stick with her for the plus 180 for this next one here. Let's see what we want to add to it. Okay, we're going to go to the next section, the riskier parlays here, but I still think value for sure. If you want to add Jones in to all this for a 4-fight parlay, you get it done fairly early the night with some of the prelim fights, plus 274. You can cash your night early. I think it's possible. Salikov, another guy, plus 290, could be very possible if you got these few in. But I do think Trinaldo is a difficult fight. Salikov being older, it just pushes me away from seriously putting him in a parlay because I just think he could be the one that ends up killing the parlay when Francisco Trinaldo has a great debut in the welterweight division. I'm not picking him. I'm still going on the opponent's side, but I have to acknowledge that Trinaldo is a tricky fighter, and there could be some inherent risk with that fight if you're throwing bets down. Okay, De La Rosa, Latifi-Amirkhani, and Leavitt brings you to plus 643. I think this right here is definitely a riskier one, but it's one that if you're bringing in the dog can throw some solid money at you. So I would say it might be worth it here. If you're looking for a dog play, maybe you don't like him. You like Rodriguez, plus 531. That's excellent too. If you want to just bring in a favorite, again, I feel like Baeza at the close money. Ooh, that's too big. That's not the one that we wanted, but we could eventually do that for the more Hail Marys ones coming up next. Plus 404, Baeza, De La Rosa, Amirkhani, Leavitt. I like a lot of these plays. I'm actually really looking forward to talking about these Hail Marys because I actually think some of them maybe could end up landing and shocking the world here with some of these. We're going to go with a pretty solid Hail Mary, I would say. Of course, we're going to put Leavitt and Amirkhani, so these right here are guys that we're feeling pretty confident in, and the lines are pretty decent on them. But not great. Absolutely not great. Let's see if we can be enticed. I think Tibura is a good play as well. If you're looking to add somebody, I am pretty confident in Tibura over Walt Harris, unless he gets caught in that first round. But I don't think he should. I think he goes out there and wins the fight. So if you have these four, it's plus 345. Maybe you add in Baeza, it's plus 701. But if you put the dog, Gregory Rodriguez, in there, you're now sitting at plus 900 money. And I like this one more. Jordan Levin, Makwan Amirkhani, Montana De La Rosa, Marcin Tibura, and Gregory Rodriguez. Out of all the Hail Marys, this is the Hail Mary I personally like the most, but we're going to play with some more Hail Marys and just swing for the fences and see if we can come through with some big money back at us. All right, who do we want to add here? I think I have written down who I wanted to add to this one. Oh, okay, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, maybe, if you guys want to really bet the top of the card, which can be scary because all night you'll maybe win them early, and then at the top it just goes the other way. Especially with heavyweight MMA, it's going to be more inherently risky, especially with the style of Jairzinho Rozenstruik being a striker. So personally, that's why I don't have as much confidence in him. I'd actually push towards maybe Tom Breeze at the minus 235 with more safety for that plus 534 back, or Delidze coming down for plus 663. But let's do some wild. Let's do like the most crazy play we can possibly pull off here that I actually think is going to cash back for you. If you put Mason Jones, he's a riskier play because he's newer to the game, but he really should beat Trinaldo minus 300. But I am going to take him out, and I am going to replace him with a Miguel Baeza play. So now you're looking at plus 1703 if Baeza, Rodrigues, Marshy, Tiberio, De La Rosa, Amirkhani, and Leavitt come through. I think this is the craziest one of the night because if you play more, I mean, you can go double dog it, I guess, and then you put Latifi on plus 2,554. This is my craziest play of the night, we'll call, that I think maybe is worth throwing down. So plus 2,554, you got Leavitt, Amirkhani, De La Rosa, Tibera, Gregory Rodrigues, and Ilir Latifi. You're putting 2 of the dogs on there, so it might absolutely bust for you, but it could also really cash big. And I do think some value in that play right there. Overall, some decent value throughout this entire card. I am looking forward to actually seeing the fights as well. There's definitely going to be some interesting matchups out here. Let me check up on that live chat. I'll try to put those in the description, man. I'll put at least a couple of them in there, man. I'll slide them in that description. I got you, man. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some solid plays tonight. I'm really looking forward to this card. The main event is not like super high level, in the name value. It's not like they have the craziest of main events ever. But at the end of the day, solid heavyweights, hard hitters. I like the matchup. I think for the hardcore fans, they'll definitely be able to enjoy this. I think the only issue would be if potentially people are looking for like that serious star power at the top or anything. They'd be like, oh, I'm tuning out of this card. I know some of the more casual watchers would, but I'm going to sway you the other way. I really think this card deserves respect of watching because I feel like excellent fights. Like, let's look through the entire card. We'll run through it. I mean, from bottom all the way up to top. You got Claudio Puelles versus Jordan Leavitt. As you guys know, I already picked Leavitt. I have him in some of the bets. I think he's valuable. He's going to beat Claudio Puelles, and it's probably going to be a good amount of grappling and control from the top for him. When we're going submission in the second round for that fight, it could also be the first. We'll quickly run through some of these fights just to give the quick predictions as well, and we'll talk about it. Yusuf Zalal, Woodson. I do think they're going to go back and forth, and I think that there's going to be moments for both guys. I like the reach advantage. I like the boxing skill set. I like the patience, and I feel like Zalal is complacent off the back foot sometimes, and if he is coming in to counter, the better counter striker, Sean Woodson, beats him. So we're going Sean Woodson definitely in that fight. Quickly fly through some of the predictions here. Marina Moroz, Manon Fiorot. As you guys know, Manon Fiorot, up-and-coming girl, I think has a ton of potential. I think she's going to beat a really difficult to fight and beat Marina Moroz, who just recently beat an undefeated prospect, and now coming against Fiorot, who's just got 1 loss, but that was in her debut, 6-fight winning streak. Striking style that karate-esque, I'm very excited for Manon Fiorot. I do believe she beats Marina Moroz here. I think decision win in that fight. So run through. We're gonna go through this card quick, guys. We're not gonna keep you all night. And if you're watching on replay, appreciate you tuning in. We'll run through these picks because I already know we got them up. You guys already know. If you already saw the full card predictions, if you haven't, you can watch that for the predictions. And we definitely take it a whole lot deeper than we are right now. But for face value, we're going through it. Alan Patrick, Mason Jones. The younger Jones should really win the fight. I feel like in this matchup, Jones will pressure forward. Patrick may have his moments, but Jones is the play. I think he wins this fight with superior pressure, and I think the boxing is pretty decent. Did I skip a fight here? Yeah, we did. We skipped the Salikov fight with Francisco Trinaldo. With Salikov and Trinaldo, the older Trinaldo, physically extremely strong. He's got that true old man strength. This guy's been fighting forever at this point. He's 42, almost 43 years of age, and he's still able to compete with these younger guys. He amazes me. This guy's a freak of nature. On the other side, you have a very ferocious kickboxer. I mean, Salikov has some dangerous spinning attacks. He's explosive with his hips. Good striker from mid-range. Trinaldo does have the southpaw stance, which could be a bit of a factor. He has that pressure forward style. He wants you against the cage. He wants to look for takedowns. I think Salikov probably wins, and I'm going to pick him to win a decision, but I have to acknowledge that Francisco Trinaldo is a difficult fighter to deal with, and he might beat Salikov. That's why through the bets when we went through, I was not throwing a ton down because Salikov, how proven has he really been? He's beaten some decent guys, and he really should beat Trinaldo, but not necessarily absolute supreme guarantee on it for a guy that has faced losses before. But this next fight, Tanner Bozier, Ilir Latifi, dog of the week. Latifi, we already talked about it. I think he's a high value underdog. I think he beats Bozier with the grappling, but if he can't get the takedown, he's in trouble. Tanner Bozier will definitely outstrike Ilir Latifi. I'll agree to that 1,000% at 37. Does make me nervous a bit, but I feel like stylistically he can beat Tanner Bozier. But riskier play because of also being over the age of 35. Granted, it's heavyweight division. He's a big boy. He's strong. I think Ilir Latifi finds a way to win with the grappling. Superior wrestling skill set wins him the fight in that one. And let's move up to the next one of the prelims. Montana De La Rosa and the Queen of Violence, Ariane Lipski. For some reason, there's no picture. There it is. De La Rosa, dangerous on the ground. Very good wrestling. Her jiu-jitsu's effective. On the other side, Lipski, a good striker, ferocious striker. I mean, if you watch her strike, it's high level and it's violent because she's looking to mix it up in the mid-range or the close range. In the clinch, she's dangerous. She'll throw elbows. But De La Rosa is going to get the fight to the ground. So it doesn't really matter how good the skill set on the feet is for Lipski. She's going to lose this fight by a submission in the second round to Montana De La Rosa. So I am going with De La Rosa in this fight. Let's quickly go down. Makwan Amirkhani, Kamelo Kirk. Go through this one. Makwan, the pick. We talked about it. He's one of the plays with the betting. I think it has value. There's a good amount of things to like with the southpaw Amirkhani, the high-level wrestling skills. On the other side, I mean, Kirk is a good striker. He's got nasty hands, and he's coming off a big knockout in LFA last week, but he's not going to win this fight against Makwan Amirkhani. He's going to lose by submission, and probably in the first round is going to be my prediction here. So Amirkhani, get that submission play. Let's quickly fly through. Tom Breeze, Antonio Arroyo. This fight right here. I really feel like Breeze's boxing is going to be the difference maker, but I will acknowledge Arroyo's very athletic. He's rangy with his legs, even though both these guys the same height. Arroyo definitely is the better kicker of the two, but Breeze, the boxing advantage. The chin's a bit high of Arroyo. The stance, I don't know. Sometimes I feel it's a bit too awkward, and I feel like Tom Breeze is going to find a way to get inside and land a big punch. If you look at the fight between him and KB Bullard, this being Tom Breeze, he dropped him with a jab at the end and put him down. Arroyo is like a KB Bullard 3.0 almost with that Taekwondo-esque style, and I think Tom Breeze finds a way to the chin of Arroyo too. I think he can stop him late or potentially see a decision victory in favor of Tom Breeze, because I do have to give Arroyo the respect as far as surviving with Muniz and Deron Wynn, who's a very dangerous grappler. On the other side, you have a striker, so could end up being a more difficult fight than the lines have it played. That's why the bet on Breeze is not absolutely guaranteed. RoboCop, Gregory Rodrigues, the short notice replacement. Dushko Thunder to the Rorovic. Dushko, he's creative with his striking. He's awkward. Rodrigues, a little more simple. He's looking for power shots. He's walking you down with that Thai-esque style. There's a lot of things to like, a lot of knockouts in a row for him. He packs serious punching power, but he also can be knocked out if you land a beautiful counter on him. He's got better power than Dushko Todorovic, but Todorovic does move better, and it's definitely a lot more loose in there. I don't necessarily think that matters here. Jiu-jitsu skills on the ground for Rodrigues, cancel them out on the ground. On the feet, they will strike. Todorovic will come forward. I also think he gets knocked out. I think Rodrigues can put him out in the first round here. So I'm going with Gregory Rodrigues, the dog. I'm telling you guys, he is a good dog, and I see a lot of value in the power he brings and the stylistic matchup. Next one up the card, Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Miguel Baeza. This fight right here intrigues me. It excites me. I really want to see Ponzinibbio back, and if he comes back in full form and go out there and beat the hot prospect with nasty skill set with striking and rips down the legs. I mean, Baeza, there's so many things to like as a prospect, but Ponzinibbio wins this fight. It's great for his career. It moves him right back into play to work his way up into that top 10 once again, but I don't think he beats Baeza. I think Baeza knocks him out, and I think he knocks him out better than Leach did in that last fight. So we're going Baeza knockout. I don't think Ponzinibbio's chin is there. I think that his chin is probably gone, to be 100% honest. The way that Leach put him out, it was one big shot. Granted, he didn't see it. I think Baeza will have the speed edge, the boxing edge, all edges in favor of Baeza, and he wins this fight here by knockout. Ponzinibbio, if he is able to survive past a round and a half, maybe Baeza starts to fatigue and Ponzinibbio catches up a submission, and now you guys got me thinking, shoot, let's just check check what that value is at. Ponzinibbio by submission is plus, or no, it's TKO. Where's the, oh my goodness, plus 1525 Ponzinibbio by submission. That might have some value. These nasty little submission plays, you guys can definitely cash big on once in a while. It's a little bit more like a lottery ticket, but if it does land, there's a ton of cash coming back at you. So if you are betting Pons, you could do that, but I think Baeza knocks him out. Featured fight on this main card. So if you haven't yet, guys, smash that like button. We're going through the full card predictions once again. After we went through the betting stuff, it is going to be exciting with Starpoli on one side, Delidze on the other on this featured bout of the night. Delidze, the grappler, Starpoli, the striker. Delidze isn't super proven, so I don't have like supreme confidence in him. He lost to Trevin Giles 2 months ago. It was a decent fight. Trevin Giles is a tough guy to beat. Tim Means on the other side, and Muslim Salikov, the recent opponent in losses for Starpoli. For me, the Means fight is what makes me confident in Delidze being able to get to Starpoli, get inside, get him to the ground. Delidze dropping from 205, Starpoli coming up from 170. Advantage in the size and strength is going to be Delidze, and he just also happens to be the better grappler. Starpoli's just not great on the ground. He's not awful, but he's not really that good, and Delidze is going to expose that flaw there. Even though Starpoli, I do think, can maybe stop takedowns, it's going to be a chain wrestle attack with Delidze, and he is competent enough striking that I'm not too worried on the feet for limited periods of time while the wrestling threat is there with Starpoli. So I'm going Delidze to win this fight. I think a submission prop might have some value, but I like him straight as well, minus 140. I think he goes out there and beats Marcin Tybura. Now, this co-main event, Walt Harris and, did I say Marcin Tybura for the last one? Laureano Starpoli. Delidze would get killed by Marcin Tybura. So correct that little mistake if they did fight. No offense to our boy Marcin Tybura, who's fighting Walt the big ticket Harris. And I think Marcin Tybura is also going to beat Walt Harris. He's going to get him to the ground eventually. That first round in 2 minutes is all Walt Harris normally has. Sure, they said his cardio's gotten a bit better. He's still going to be threatened with the grappling here. If he does mix it up with the hands, I think Tybura takes every shot he throws at him. Tybura's got a chin, man. Greg Hardy hits hard, and Tybura ate every shot. I feel like Walt Harris, Greg Hardy, I don't know, man. Not that MMA math works, but he got finished, Walt Harris, against Volkov, whereas Greg Hardy gave Volkov a pretty good fight. Granted, MMA math doesn't work, but it's just a thought. I think Tybura beats Walt Harris very similar to how he does Hardy, but I don't even think he gets outstruck as bad as that. I think Tybura exposes the grappling weakness that is always there of Walt Harris, finds a way to get on top, probably not in the first 3 minutes, but maybe after that point towards the end of the first or even in the second round. I'm going Tybura by submission here, guys. Or excuse me, by TKO. Potentially by submission if it's a rear naked choke and he's just beating the hell out of Walt Harris and Walt's like, listen, I'm finished. And he ends up giving up. Also, southpaw versus southpaw on the feet. I think that kind of gives an advantage to Tybura being fairly competitive defensively on the feet. So Harris, dangerous the first round. After that, it's Tybura's fight. I think TKO round 3. I think Walt Harris is going to last a bit longer than Greg Hardy, but he's still going to get beat very similar to that. And also, let's see what Tybura by submission is at. Is there value? Plus 750, plus 800? Somebody's getting a submission, and why not Marcin Tybura rear naked choking Walt Harris? I think that's very possible if he softens him up with that grounded pound. All right, we've gotten to this main event. We've flown through the prediction portion of this video. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you haven't yet. Looking forward to this main event, and we got to talk about it. It's going to be absolutely exciting. Maybe. Actually, take that back. Absolutely exciting is overselling this fight. It might be really good or it might suck because Jairzinho Rozenstruik's last fight, if you're looking for an action-packed fight, it sucked. If you're okay with watching very technical striking and sitting in this looking at technique, sure. I thought that Cyril Gane did what he had to do to win the fight. He had the perfect key to beat Rozenstruik, but it bought him no new fans. Personally, I could say I enjoyed the performance technically, but at the end of the day, I also maybe had a bias because I picked Gane winning the fight, so I was intrigued watching him win. Jairzinho Rozenstruik gets complacent, sitting on the outside and looking to counter. Against Gane, it doesn't work. Against Augusto Sakai, it's going to work. Augusto Sakai doesn't have a ton of knockout power. Somehow knocked out Marcin Tybura, though, in 59 seconds. But doesn't hit super hard. Does have a little bit of pop. But Jairzinho Rozenstruik's not a Glass Joe. He's no Alistair Overeem. I don't think that the striking threat is going to be nearly as substantial. I think Sakai's going to rush in as he does and does that really weird, like, hammer fist punch when he's inside flurrying. And I feel like Rozenstruik's going to counter. I think second round knockout, Jairzinho Rozenstruik. As I said, maybe bet Sakai submission just because there's a ton of value on the submission prop. But Rozenstruik should knock him out in the second round. And that's my prediction for this fight. Knockout second round, Rozenstruik sleeps Augusto Sakai. Let's be honest. Augusto Sakai's had some okay performances, but split decision against Arlovsky. KO against Sherman was decent. He looked good against Overeem. I feel like Jairzinho Rozenstruik against Junior looked fantastic. Beat Alistair Overeem, even though he didn't look great in that fight. Against Arlovsky, the counter left hook put him down quick, so we didn't see much of him. Against Gane, bad matchup. I feel like that Junior Dos Santos fight, in my opinion, showed an improvement in the game of Rozenstruik. He just met a superior fighter in Gane, which way longer and better from the outside. He's going to get inside here, land the big punch. He's knocking out a very aggressive Augusto Sakai in the second round. Overall, I would call this card, because the main event is weak, we're calling it a B+ card for the fight nights. But the main event is fun to me, but name value-wise, these aren't huge names as far as the heavyweight division goes. They both could be, and I feel like people will tune in. Personally, I'm super pumped for every fight on the card, but the main event, to me, more of a featured bout or even a co-main event. The co-main event definitely could also play as a feature bout. The feature bout in itself, I think you do Santiago Ponzinibbio Baeza. I don't know if it's going to be changed because this is what Tapology has in front of me, but we'll see when that fight comes. Overall, though, good card. I'm calling it B+. Excited to see the action, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun fights and some exciting moments on this card. I really hope you guys all enjoyed this full card betting breakdown and prediction video. UFC Vegas 28 best bets for Overeem versus Sakai. Smash that like button if you have not already. If you guys are new, subscribe to the channel too. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me check up on that live chat before I leave here. Am I trying to buy Air Jordans, man? I'm going to have to pass on the Air Jordans, bro. The tough production was A1. I know, man. I didn't get to go live for it, but I am going to be watching the episode and going to be probably doing a recap of it in the next couple hours. So stay tuned for that tonight. But I appreciate all of you guys. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all later on. Have a good night, guys.